Today I'm looking at 10 different basic lead playing techniques, and 10 ways of playing the same note. I'm just going to take one note, which is this D here. I'm going to play that in 10 different ways, just to demonstrate the basic techniques. So the first one is just to do what I did then. You just play the note. So you put the standard way of playing a note on a guitar. You press just behind the fret, play the note here with your thumb or your finger or a pick. So that's the first way you can play a note. The next way is to bend the string so that you make the sound of that note. Now the bend can be from 1 fret below, or 2, or even 3 frets below. So for now I'm just going to go 1 fret below. So the next way to play the same note is to play a release, and a release is something that goes with a bend. You bend a note, you push the string up to get the pitch of the note you want, and then you let it come down again. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes you let it come down again and you get the sound of the original note. It is possible to get the sound of a different note if you bend, say for example, if I bend from here, I could let the string down a little bit to get the sound of this note. But what's more common is to let it all the way down to get the sound of the starting note. So if I wanted the sound of this D as a release, I need to have bent the string from that point, and then as it comes down you hear the sound of the D note. So that's number 3. Right, so number 4 is a slide, and I can slide from a specific note, play the note, and then so you hear the note, and then I slide my finger along, usually up the neck but can be down, and I slide along to get the sound of the D. So for example, you heard this note, which is the B, you heard it, and then you heard it slide up to a D. So I didn't pick the string again, I just played the original note. Like that. Another way of sliding is to be moving your finger before you pick the string, so you don't actually hear the starting point, you only hear the end note with the effect of the slide. And it's more that I'm thinking of at the moment when I'm going through these 10 ways of playing. Okay, the next one is a hammer-on. Hammer-on is where you play a note and then you push another finger onto the same string higher up. So when I say higher, regardless of how my guitar looks, high is always that way because the pitch goes up. So you push another finger on to get the sound of another note without picking the string again. So if I want the sound of this D, I might have played a C here beforehand and push my finger on to the D without picking, like this. That's a hammer-on. Not necessarily always from there, could be from here. The end result is the D note that I'm after. Okay, another thing that goes with hammer-ons is pull-offs. And pull-offs are where you do a similar kind of thing. You play a note on one string, but instead of putting a finger on higher up the string, you pull that original finger away and you have another finger in place behind it, this way. And by pulling the original finger away, you actually pluck the string with that original finger and it plays the note that's behind. So I want to end up with a D note again, so I might have played maybe this note, which is an E, but this finger's in place on the D. At the moment, that doesn't make any difference because of that. So I put both fingers on, play the note, the original note here, pull this finger down, and what it does is it kind of plays the string and plays that note as it comes away. So I'm only picking once. And they can be slow or fast, just like hammer-ons. And you often combine hammer-ons and pull-offs. Or sometimes people play very fast, just picking the original note and playing lots of hammer-ons and pull-offs. Next one is similar to something we did earlier, similar to the release. This one's called a prebend. And what happens with a prebend is instead of doing the standard thing where you play a note and then push the string up and then maybe let it come down again for the release, a pre-bend is where you play the string after you've bent it. So you don't actually pick it originally, you push the string up to get the sound of the note that you want. So maybe I might be pushing this one up to maybe sound like that. That's a normal bend, but a pre-bend is where I go like that and then play it. So they're a bit harder because you have to judge how far to push it. So to get the sound of my D note, I'll maybe do this and then let the string down. So that's a pre-bend release, or pre-bend and release. But I'm still ending up on this same note, this D. Okay, the next one is a thing called violining. There's other names for this, but I quite like violining. And this is where you turn the volume of your guitar down, usually all the way down, but you can just lower it, sort of halfway or something. Normally this is done on the guitar volume control, but you can use a separate volume pedal. Players like Mark Knopfler do this a lot. And you play the note, play it just normally with the volume down, and then you pull the volume up afterwards so you hear the sound of the note getting louder and appearing, but you don't hear the attack, which is where the sound of picking. You don't hear the attack part of that, you just hear the smooth sound of the note, like this. And that's quite effective for sort of atmospheric things, and you can put your little finger on there depending on what guitar you've got and do several notes like this. Okay, number 9, so we're near the end. This one is a right hand tap, and sometimes people call it two-handed tapping when you play this kind of thing. That sort of style. And so that's a way I can play this D note. I could be playing another note, maybe a C, and instead of doing a hammer on, I could go push with my finger. You can do this with a pick as well, the edge of the pick. So that's often combined with then a pull off with that finger, and usually you'd go over and over again. So you pick the note once, like that. Okay, and then the last one in my 10 ways to play the same note is to do a bend behind the nut. And this is a bit like bending a string. So say if I'm playing this note, bend it up to sound like a D. Another way I could do that is to play the note, but instead of bending the string there, push on the string there behind the nut, like this. Now obviously you can get the effect of a release doing that as well. So that would make 11, I don't want 11, I only want 10, so we'll just do the bend. So that's my 10 ways to play the same note. I hope that's useful. If you like the video, please subscribe, and if you have any ideas of other lesson videos you'd like to see, just please let me know. Thanks.